Welcome back, children. We're going to be continuing Chapter 8 right now. Chapter 8 of Number the Stars, Part 2. There Has Been a Death. All day long, the girls played out of doors under the brilliant, clear sky and sun. Anne-Marie took Ellen to the small pasture beyond the barn and introduced her to Blossom, who gave a lazy, rough-textured lick to the palm of Ellen's hand when she extended it timidly. The kitten scampered about and chased flying insects across the meadow. The girls picked armfuls of wildflowers, dried brown now, by the early fall chill, and arranged them in pots and pitchers until the tabletops were crowded with their bouquets. Inside the house, Mama scrubbed and dusted, tisking at Uncle Heinrich's untidy housekeeping. She took the rugs out to the clothesline and beat them with a stick, scattering dust into the air. "He needs a wife," she said, shaking her head, and attacked the old wooden floors with a broom while the rugs aired. "Just look at this," she said, opening the door to the little used formal living room with the old-fashioned furniture. "He never dusts." And she picked up her cleaning rags. "And Kirsty," she added, "the god of thunder made a very small rain shower in the corner of the kitchen floor. Keep an eye on him." Late in the afternoon, Uncle Heinrich came home. He grinned when he saw the newly cleaned and polished house, the double doors of the living room wide open, the rugs aired, the windows washed. "Heinrich, you need a wife," Mama scolded him. Uncle Heinrich laughed and joined Mama on the steps near the kitchen door. "Why do I need a wife when I have a sister?" he asked in his booming voice. Mama sighed, but her eyes were twinkling. "And you need to stay home more often and take care of the house. This step is broken, there's a leaking faucet in the kitchen, and..." Heinrich was grinning at her, shaking his head in mock dismay. "And there are mice in the attic, and my brown sweater has a big moth hole in the sleeve, and if I don't wash the windows soon..." They laughed together. "Anyway," Mama said, "I have opened every window, Heinrich, to let the air in and the sunlight. Thank goodness it is such a beautiful day." "Tomorrow will be a day for fishing," Heinrich said, his smile disappearing. Anne-Marie listened, recognizing the odd phrase. Papa had said something like that on the telephone. "Is the weather good for fishing, Heinrich?" Papa had asked. But what did it mean? Heinrich went fishing every day, rain or shine. Denmark's fishermen don't wait for sunny days to take their boats out and throw their nets into the sea. Anne-Marie, silent, sitting with Ellen under the apple tree, watched her uncle. Mama looked at him. "The weather is right?" she asked. Heinrich nodded and looked at the sky. He smelled the air. "I will be going back to the boat tonight after supper. We will leave very early in the morning. I will stay on the boat all night." Anne-Marie wondered what it would be like to be on a boat all night. To lie at anchor, hearing the sea slap against the sides, to see the stars from your place on the sea. "Have you prepared the living room?" Uncle Heinrich asked suddenly. Mama nodded. "It is clean, and I moved the furniture a bit to make room." "And you saw the flowers," she added. "I hadn't thought of it, but the girls picked dried flowers from the meadow." "Prepared the living room for what?" Anne-Marie asked. "Why did you move the furniture?" Mama looked at Uncle Heinrich. He had reached down for the kitten, scampering past, and now held it against his chest and scratched its chin gently. It arched its small back with pleasure. "Well, girls," he said, "it is a very sad event, but not too sad really, because she was very, very old. There has been a death, and tonight your great Aunt Bertie will be resting in the living room, in her casket, before she is buried tomorrow. It is the old custom, you know, for the dead to rest at home, and their loved ones to be with them before burial." Kirsty was listening with a fascinated look. "Right here?" she asked. "A dead person? Right here?" Anne-Marie said nothing. She was confused. This was the first she had heard of a death in the family. No one had called Copenhagen to say there had been a death. No one seemed sad. And most puzzling of all, she had never heard the name before, Great Aunt Bertie. Surely she would have known if she had a relative by that name. Kirsty might not. Kirsty was little and didn't pay attention to such things. But Anne-Marie did. She had always been fascinated by her mother's stories of her own childhood. She remembered the names of all the cousins, the great aunts and uncles who had been such a tease, who had been a grouch, who had been such a scold that her husband had finally moved away to a different house, though they continued to have dinner together every night. Such wonderful, interesting stories, filled with the colorful personalities of her mother's family. And Anne-Marie was quite certain, though she said nothing, that there was no Great Aunt Bertie. She didn't exist. Now, they talk about a custom called a wake, which is when people used to rest in their homes, in their own homes, in their casket with their family during the night, where everyone would stay awake and keep the person in their coffin company. Usually they would take turns staying awake during the night, and people would bring food, and they would have kind of like a solemn, somber, melancholy, or sad dinner. So, why do you think There Has Been a Death is kind of an untruthful chapter? We'll talk about it next time when we read chapter 9. Bye, kids.